Thank you. Chairman Sessions, Ranking Member Mfume, and members of the subcommittee, I'm pleased to discuss today GAO's extensive work on procurement fraud risk management at DoD. The President recently proposed a $1 trillion fiscal year 2026 budget for the department, a substantial share of which is for procurement, an operational area inherently at risk for fraud. In general, fraud risk in federal programs is a function of weak controls, as well as high spending levels, sprawling scope and scale, and complex, often restrictive configurations. These causal factors are all present in DoD activities, making effective fraud risk management very challenging. In this regard, DoD faces significant financial and non-financial fraud risks, which, coupled with weak fraud risk management, compromise the integrity of its programs, resulting in operational readiness and national security impacts. An example from our reporting underscores such impacts, namely an ineligible foreign manufacturer, through opaque ownership of U.S. shell companies, obtained contracts, accessed and exported sensitive military data, and produced non-conforming parts, which resulted in the grounding of 47 fighter jet aircraft. My remarks today aggregate the results of 3 GAO reports since 2019 on DoD procurement fraud risk management, the addition in February 2025 of fraud risk management to the existing DoD financial management area on GAO's high-risk list, and recent related GAO testimony before the subcommittee. Against this backdrop, DoD asserted that fraud isn't a significant problem, challenged our adding fraud risk management to the high-risk list, and disagreed with key findings and more than half of our recommendations in our 3 reports. These recommendations are fundamental to effective fraud risk management. 13 of these recommendations, including 2 designated as priority, which means must-do recommendations, remain open. And though risks are immediate, DoD has repeatedly delayed their implementation. Regrettably, then, DoD's indifferent posture, including lack of timely action, suggests that fraud risk management isn't yet a top leadership priority. With the foregoing as context, I'll make 2 principal points about the state of fraud risk management at DoD. First, our analyses of about 2,700 adjudicated procurement fraud cases covering fiscal years 2015 to 2021 conclusively show that assertions to the contrary notwithstanding, fraud and risk is indeed a problem at DoD. Second, DoD's capacity to manage fraud risks falls well short across multiple fundamentals. For example, the DoD anti-fraud strategy hasn't established clear roles, responsibilities, and authorities across components for fraud risk management, including the entity charged with leading this effort. Accordingly, this entity can't readily compel timely and comprehensive action by components. Data analytics activities to identify and assess fraud risks are essentially non-existent across components, including investigative units, missing a major opportunity to significantly enhance fraud risk management decision-making and action. I'll close by underscoring that managing fraud risks effectively is serious business, as their multiple impacts are significant. Accordingly, for DoD to address such risks successfully and safeguard its assets, it must promptly do 3 vital things. First, acknowledge fraud risks are a problem, rather than downplay their existence and significance. And second, determine their extent, nature, and implications at the institutional as well as the component levels. And third, act decisively and timely as part of an integrated anti-fraud approach to fully implement all our recommendations and build and sustain an effective fraud risk management capacity. Chairman Sessions, Ranking Member Mfume, this concludes my remarks. I now welcome your questions. Thank you.